Hi, my name is Becky Ullom Naugle, and I'm the Director of Youth and Young Adult Ministries for the Church of the Brethren. I'd like to share with you today some information that I shared with advisors who attended the advisor preview event in early October at the YMCA of the Rockies. Hopefully, after this session, you will have a few questions answered and know how to find more information yourself, so that as you plan your trip to NYC, you have everything you need to know. So please feel free to take notes and reach out to me. You can email me at naugle@brethren.org, or you can call. My number is 847-429-4385. You can also reach out to Rachel Johnson, who's the NYC coordinator, or Anna Schweitzer, the assistant coordinator. So those are good resources for you to have at hand. Also know that there is a lot of information on the NYC website, and that can be found at brethren.org/NYC. We're constantly adding new information there, so check back often. I also wanted to make you aware that the website can be translated into multiple languages. When you're on that website, look in the bottom right-hand corner and you'll see the word English. And if you click that button, it will allow you to choose another language to translate the website into. So hopefully that's helpful. There's lots of information, flyers, resources, all sorts of things. So let me know if you can't find something on there. The other website that you should check out is the YMCA of the Rockies website. Now, when you go to that homepage, there are two locations, and NYC will be at the Estes Park location. So just make sure that you're looking at the Estes Park information when you are looking at YMCA of the Rockies website information. So, great, here we go. We will be the largest group on campus when we're there in July. There will definitely be others around, families. There could be some other small groups, others on campus, but we will be the biggest group. And we'll all have name tags on, so you'll be able to easily tell who is a part of our group. The YMCA of the Rockies is a beautiful location that is very high in the mountains. The whole campus is above 8,000 feet. So you really need to pay attention to hydration and, allowing your body to get used to things the first day or two that you're there. It's beautiful and it's high. So just be prepared yourself as you head out to Colorado. Prepare others, let your youth know what they might expect. Watch out for other advisors, as they might be struggling with the altitude. Registration for NYC opens on January 5th, 2026. There are several tiers of registration. You'll want to register during the early bird season, which takes place in the month of January and February. So in January and February, the registration fee is $625. Regular registration takes place in the months of March and April, and that price is $650. You can also register in May or June, but that's late registration, and that cost will be $675. There's a deposit, a non-refundable deposit of $325 that's due within 2 weeks of registering. So just know that you don't have to pay the moment you register, but you do need to start working on that deposit as soon as you finish registering, so that it can make its way here to us. There are intercultural scholarships available, so let me know if you'd like more information about that. It's important that each registrant has their own email, has a unique email. So registrants can't share an email address, is another way of saying that. And it's also important that it's not a made-up email address, because we will send information to that address. So make sure it's a unique email address that someone actually has access to. Advisors, you will be able to register more than one participant as long as they have a unique email address. So let's say you get all the way through the registration process, there will be a button that says add another registrant. And if you push that, it'll send you back to the beginning and let you register someone new. with a new email address. There will be spots for the registrant's email address, as well as an advisor's email address and a parent or guardian's email address. So for each registrant, there could potentially be 3 email addresses reported if you want to use all 3. There are a number of forms that need signed to be fully registered. So make sure once you register, you'll get an autoresponder email with a link that will direct you to those pages to read and sign, as well as a lot of other information. So watch for those emails. All adults who attend NYC will undergo a background check. That's just part of our child protection policy in the Church of the Brethren. So in that autoresponder email, there will be a link, language, something like click here to give us permission to run a background check. And you will report some information like your name, address, birth date, things like that. And then we will take care of running the background check. There's no cost to you. It's a pretty painless process, but ask if you have questions about that. When you're paying for NYC, we'd love it if you would send us a check, because then we don't have to pay credit card fees. However, it's more important that you register than how you pay for your registration. So if it's too much hassle to try and figure out registering and then sending a check, don't worry about it. Just register and pay with a credit card. That's totally fine. But if it's possible for your church to send in a check, or as individuals, just send a check in so we can avoid paying those credit card fees. If you hit that submit button and realize there's something you need to change on your registration, no problem. Just reach out to the NYC office and we'll make that change for you. So transportation between the airport and the YMCA of the Rockies. A lot of people will fly, and they will fly into Denver International Airport. That's the closest airport. It's about 2 hours from the Y. So when you're planning flights and trying to make these arrangements, budget 2 hours between those 2 locations. In terms of flying, there are some discounts available, especially if you have a group of 10 or more. So on the NYC website, go to the transportation page for more details about that. Once you get to the airport in Denver, what are your ground transportation options? There are several. There are 2 commercial shuttles that will take you directly from the airport to the Y. They have multiple scheduled runs per day. And once you give them your flight information, they will assign you to the next shuttle. It's very convenient, and it's on the more expensive end of things. So convenient, but also the most expensive. It's usually how it is in life, right? So the two shuttles that would be in that category are the Estes Park shuttle and Colorado Canyon Connection. They have websites. If you look them up, you'll be able to get there. You can also get to them through the NYC website. Bustang is another commercial shuttle. It's very inexpensive, but it's a little more challenging to use because there are only 2 trips in the morning. And so those 2 trips go from Denver up to the mountains in the morning. And then in the afternoon, I would imagine those same buses make a return trip. There are 2 return trips in the afternoon. So you could potentially use it. It's just a little bit more complicated and will take more planning on your part. There's also the Denver Charter Bus Company. If you have a group of 12 or more people, you might check out what it would cost to charter your own vehicle from the airport up to the YMCA of the Rockies. I haven't done a lot of analysis on that. I don't know if it would be more expensive or less expensive than using like the Estes Park shuttle, but it's something you can check out. Finally, you can rent a vehicle. Just know that it is high tourism season during the summer in the mountains. The rental car facility in Denver is very busy. You have to have a reservation. Do not just show up and expect to find a car, because you probably won't. So make sure you have a reservation and make sure you have plenty of time to pick up the rental car. So Parking is free once you get to the Y in Estes Park. If you live in the Shenandoah or Verlina districts, there are district bus trips forming. So contact the district office and ask for more information if you're interested in that. Arrival, departure, and luggage storage. We're still working out the exact details, the exact location and procedure for registration, so stay tuned. But there will be luggage storage available when you arrive. Registration is from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And then official check-in time at the Y is 6 p.m. So why is that important to you? We're a big group, and hopefully we will get into a lot of our rooms earlier than 6 p.m. However, it's possible that we will not get all rooms until 6 p.m. I mean, there will be some rooms that we don't get until 6 p.m. So just be prepared that when you arrive to the Y, you will need to use luggage storage, and you'll have some time to look around and figure out where you are before you get to move into your room. So just expect that now. I did want to remind you that the first meal served as a part of NYC is the evening meal on Saturday, July 18th. So let's say you get to the Y at 10 a.m. and you check in. It's awesome. We'll store your luggage. You're probably going to need to get lunch. You can't eat in the cafeteria. You could just pay cash for that. There's also a cafe, and there are also some snacky type. There's a gift store that has some snacks in it. There are vending machines around. Just keep that in mind. On the last day of NYC, we will also have luggage storage available. Checkout time is 10 a.m. But a lot of folks like to get packed up so that they can begin their transportation back to the airport as soon as closing worship finishes. Okay, housing and meals. The typical room configuration for NYC participants for youth. Well, this room type is what everyone will stay in. It's one queen bed and 2 sets of bunk beds, and each room includes a private bathroom. Okay, so 1 queen bed, 2 sets of single bunk beds, and then a bathroom. So if it's a youth room, we will try to put 5 youth in a room to be as economically efficient as possible. We're not going to ask advisors to stay in the top bunk, so there will be no more than 3 advisors in a room. If you want a room to yourself, you can be in touch with me and I'll work out that. I'll give you the pricing for that. Youth are not allowed to room by themselves for safety concerns. If a participant has special housing needs, there will be a note box on the registration form. So just give us some information on that, and we will follow up with you on what the special need is and how we can accommodate that. Remember that we house people by congregation and then by district. So right, so we try and get all of the folks, for all of the females from one church together, all the males from another church together in another dorm. And then besides the congregation, then it moves on to district. So it doesn't work if youth request a cross-district roommate. I mean, that's pretty straightforward, right? Just know that there is a spot to request a roommate, and it's only one name, and it will work best if both people request each other and that they are within the same district. I hope that makes sense. No housing on the Y campus is air conditioned, but that is just fine because we're so high that even summer nights are cool at that altitude. So windows open, and it should be quite comfortable. There's one dining room that we will all eat in. It's called the Aspen Dining Room, and the Y will pretty much recognize our name tags as a group. and count how many people come through, but we're not gonna each have to individually swipe a card or anything, which is a nice time savings. You can just go through the line. However, that does mean that no name tag means no meal. So people will really need to keep track, of course, of their name tag and the room key. Meal service starts on Saturday evening of NYC, and then the last meal is breakfast on Thursday morning. On to hiking. There'll be a lot of differences with hiking this year, because we don't have to ride a bus to the mountains. We're already there. One thing is the same though, and that's that youth are never allowed to hike without an adult. Hiking in general is optional. We want you to stay on the property. The Y has a pretty big property with lots of trails, and we want you to stay on the Y property. You'll want to take a paper map, and those are plentiful once you arrive. And you can look up trails on the website too. It's all on there, but just remember that your cell phone may not have the same service that high in the mountains as it does where you normally are. So don't depend on your phone for the map. Yeah, so you're welcome. Everyone is welcome to hike on the Y trails as much as they'd like during recreation and with an advisor. Advisors are welcome to take their own youth or other youth on a hike. Just remember that the ratio of adults to youth should be 1 to 4. So 1 adult per 4 youth. And advisors, if you send your youth on a hike with somebody else, just remember that you're responsible for knowing where they are. And if you pass them off to somebody else, remember to get them back from that person when they're done hiking. We're working on ways for people to hike, for youth to hike, even if their advisor doesn't want to hike or shouldn't hike. So just stay tuned for more details, but we want to make hiking available to as many people as possible. Service projects. Service projects are also optional. We do plan to have service projects, and there will be a place for you to indicate your interest on the registration form, but we don't have all the details finalized yet. We're still working on that. So you can participate in service projects once during the week of NYC, and we will likely have people grouped by district for service projects, as has been the pattern in the past. Every day there is time for recreation, and there is a ton of stuff to do on the Wise property, and most of it's free. So I'll tell you some of the free things to do and then some of the paid activities. And as we get closer, you'll be hearing more information from the NYC office. You can also, again, go to the YMCA of the Rockies website and look at what they say about cost and, you know, size of a group that can participate in a particular activity, things like that. So these are the free things you can do on the campus. You can go swimming. It's an indoor pool, so just know that. It's can be chilly up there, so it's indoor. There's hiking, mini golf, outdoor volleyball, outdoor basketball, outdoor pickleball. There's a roller skating rink inside. There's a game room, and lots of board games, and there's even a library on the property. So the things that you would have to pay extra for would include the climbing wall. They have a couple of climbing walls, some indoor, some outdoor, but you have to pay to do all of them. The craft center, you go to the craft center and you pick the project you want to do, and what it costs depends on what you choose. So they have axe throwing at the YMCA. It's outdoors. They also have an aerial challenge course, which is a high ropes course. That may be a more familiar term for you. There's also horseback riding. So if you have questions about those, be in touch, look at the websites. Small groups. Small groups are not optional, they're required. There will once again be youth small groups and advisor only small groups. The youth small groups will be led by at least 2 advisors, and then the advisor groups will they won't have any youth in them. So on the registration form, there will be a place for you to indicate that you're willing to lead a small group. We love and appreciate small group leaders. And thank you ahead of time for your investment in the youth that week and just the fellowship and spiritual formation that happens in those small groups. So we do provide a curriculum to you, and there is some brief training. So it shouldn't be a huge, scary thing. Hopefully it should be something that feels natural to you as an advisor to youth anyway. So we do really try and mix up these groups. So we try to avoid putting youth from the same congregation in the ssame group. We try to avoid putting districts together, but that's not always possible. So we just know that if your youth goes to the first small group meeting and comes back and says, I didn't know anyone there, that's the point. This is the one structured time where we try to get people from all over to meet people from all over. Small groups meet once a day for an hour. And they do that every day except for the first day and the last day. So all the 4 days in between, there's a small group time that's an hour long. Workshops are also not optional. Got to go to a workshop. Everybody's got to go to a workshop. Most workshops are for both youth and advisors, but there will probably be some advisor only workshops. If you're interested in leading a workshop for youth or for advisors only, please be in touch. We'd also love to hear what you're passionate about and what you want to share with youth at NYC. Workshops happen every day except for the first and last day. So there are 4 total workshop sessions, and they're in the afternoon. Small groups are in the morning, workshops are in the afternoon. Okay, curfew and security. Curfew at NYC is midnight. Everyone has to be in their rooms. And because the bathrooms are in each room this time, there should be no need for anyone to be in the hallway after midnight. So encourage your youth at midnight when curfew is to also be off of their phones. No gaming, no texting after midnight. Everybody needs a rest. That's one of the things about being that high and that close to the sun, and they're full days, right? We do a lot. So we hope that people can take advantage of the time we've set aside for everyone to rest. So quiet hours at the Y are from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. So people coming back to the dorm or back to the lodges from late evening activities will need to be quiet so as to not disturb other guests at the Y. We will be asking for floor and lodge supervisors. Basically what happens is the floor supervisor will make sure that all youth on that floor are accounted for, and then they will contact the lodge supervisor or the building supervisor. And then once the whole lodge is reported that everybody is there, then that person will call the NYC office, and that's one less thing we have to worry about that night. They won't, floor supervisors do not check adult rooms. So if you volunteer to be a floor supervisor, don't think you're going to have to wake up other advisors. You will know which rooms have youth in them and how many youth. And so you just verify that the correct number of people are in that room, pull the door shut, and off you go. So that's kind of the evening security check. During the day, youth are never allowed to leave the Y's property, except with an advisor and during recreation. So youth are on campus always, unless it's recreation and they go off with an advisor. If you have questions about that, let me know. Wi-Fi is available all over campus. There's probably some places that you get better reception and places that you get worse reception connection, but it is available all over campus for free. Cell phones, like we said before, it depends on your carrier, the kind of service you'll get. So just be prepared that it may be different than what you're used to. And we will request that everyone silence their cell phones during worship, small groups, and workshops. So worship, morning and evening, then small groups, and then workshops. Just pay attention and be present. There will be a number of staff resources available at NYC. And we're still pulling our staff team together. We're still pulling together youth workers. So if you have questions about what's available at NYC, please reach out and we'd be happy to answer your questions. I hope this has been helpful to you. I know it's a lot of information. We are glad to be on this journey towards NYC with you and look forward to helping you in whatever way we can. Have a good afternoon.